Hello everybody and welcome to Fruits Basket Season 2, Episode 12, the halfway point, roughly, anime review. This episode continued the never-ending question is Shigure an asshole, a manipulative man, or is he actually a pretty alright guy? I think the answer is actually probably both, is I think where we're at with Shigure right now. He is a complex individual, we may never, well hopefully we do at some point find out the answer. But yeah, it was another good week. We focused on, not a new character, I think she has shown up before, well she's the teacher, so yeah she would have. But first proper, in-depth, focus, point of view, whatever you want to call it, on her. Her name is Mayu, I think. I'm gonna double check right now because if it's not, it's, you know, I'll feel like an idiot. No, it is Mayu, I'm correct. So yeah, it was an interesting week, I thought. Interesting week indeed. Didn't get any appearance, I don't think, by the main lot, by Toru and Kyo and Yuki. But hey, they don't need to show up every week, is I think what we're learning. Anyway, let's jump into the episode, see exactly how everything went down and everything. Let's do this. So Mayu ends up watching the bookshop for her mum because her dad is in hospital. Her mum needs to be with her dad. Mayu's got to watch the bookshop. Makes sense, you know, that's a point A to point C, whatever. Makes sense, makes a lot of sense. She was friends with Hattori and that girl, remember that he was with, that Kana? She was friends with them, so yeah, that happened too. Shigure comes to visit, which means trouble, because it's Shigure. And he tends to, I mean, he's a walking tornado of trouble. I think that's what we'll call Shigure. It turns out that Mayu and Shigure, they were dating at some point. Don't know if we knew that before, but we know it now, we didn't before. So, yeah. Imagine, like the top comment on Crunchyroll, when I looked anyway, was like, imagine Shigure being your ex. And I was just thinking like, holy crap, yeah, that's pretty, that would be weird, because he's Shigure, and he's such a character, I guess is all I'm going to say. Anyway, basically, she knew immediately that they were dating, this being Hattori and Kana. But anyway, she started liking Hattori despite that because, hey, you can't help it, you know. But she, you know, as a good friend she is, she weren't going to do nothing. Makes sense. Then she met Shigure and Ayame, and then learnt more about Hattori through all that, and started liking him more and more and more. You know, typical love triangle sort of stuff. But then, Shigure found out that she loved Hattori, and then he at first says, you should steal him. She's like, can't do that, because I'm not like Kana, you know, it would never work. And he's like, okay, you want to go out then? And then they do, I guess. Shigure goes out with, my brain is farting today, with Mayu. It's not exactly a traditional relationship, we'll call it. They're a bit, I don't really know how to describe it. More of a convenience, rather than there being any actual feeling there. Later on, she visited Kana after when she's in, what's a polite way of putting this? She's a bit unstable, I think is what we'll say. So yeah, and that didn't go well, and then again, visited her after her memory had been wiped, basically. And also, she broke up with Shigure, so, oh no, poor Shigure. Is it poor Shigure? I don't know. I don't think he particularly cares, you know? Shigure doesn't seem like that kind of guy. And then she started crying because now Kana isn't, you know, they're not happy like they were before. And everything, she starts crying. Anyway, present day, right? She's still not met up with Hattori since that day in the past. So, she's not moved on. Shigure, who is there being a troll, basically, is I think what we learned this week. He's either a troll, he's like a good intentioned troll. That's what Shigure is at this point. In this episode anyway. Hattori has a girlfriend called Satsuki. That's that woman from before. Shigure is relaying this information to her. Mayu is the only one left behind because, you know, Hattori's got a girlfriend. Kana's married now. Mayu's the only one that's still sort of, what's the word? I can't think of the word. But she's the only one that's left behind. I'm sorry I couldn't think of the word. My brain proper died then. Yeah, she he asks, hey, should we go out again? And she's like, nope, not going to do that because I'm lonely anymore. And just go out with anyone, because why not? And then Shigure leaves and said, yeah, I liked you well enough. And it's like, oh, that's ambiguous. It's not ambiguous. That's, not the... First I thought he said, I liked you well enough, as in Shigure. But then later on in the phone call, he seemed to imply that he was talking about Hattori. So... I either misread it. No, I definitely misread it. I'm gonna take the blame for this one. I misread it. And then she's like, maybe I should find my own happiness now. And then who comes in the front door? There's only one door. No, I think there was actually two doors, but only one direction. That's not important. I don't know why I'm I'm stuck on this point. It's Hattori. Hattori shows up and she's like, oh my god, what? So yeah, she quickly deduces that this whole meeting was probably a setup from Shigure the whole time. And yeah, he's a troll, that Shigure boy. Hattori, says, oh, the book's not in today, whatever. I'll come get it tomorrow instead of... I'd rather come get it than get it shipped to me, is basically what he says. Because she's figured out it was Shigure, she was going to angry phone call him, but then she was like, crap, it's summer vacay. Can't ring the house, the kids might answer, and then I got splaining to do. And I don't want to do no splaining. So yeah, there's that. But then she was like, weird. Man, my names are on fire today. Hattori wasn't exuding as much happiness, because he's got a new girlfriend. She was thinking he should be exuding happiness like he did when he was with Kana. She didn't get that kind of vibe from him. So she figures something's up. When he gets back to the estate, this old woman, who I'm pretty sure has shown up in multiple episodes at this point. Now I'm suspicious of this old woman. She shows up and basically chastises Hattori. It's like, you should be by Akito's side the whole time. And it's like, shut up, old woman. She's shown up so many times now. And every time I'm pretty sure I've gone, you rude old woman. Like, yeah, people have their ways, and the elderly people, it's hard to... Some of them, I've struggled to move on with the world, I think is a polite way of saying it. But God, this old bint, not a fan, me. Not a fan at all of this one. But yeah, poor Hattori is essentially where we're at. Next day. Yeah, it would be the next day. Mayu's mum is trying to not pressure her, but she's like, come on, please get married. Basically. Come on, Kana's married. Your dad's sick. You need to get married now. And she's like, nah. Not interested. Hattori interrupts and is like, is something going on here? And then Mayu, because her mum's going to be all embarrassing, I guess they still do that in the when you're older as well, your parents will never not be embarrassing. Mayu skedaddles with Hattori out of the shop. They do a 15-kilometer dash to the nearest bridge, because I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest, but hey, they're on a bridge now. Hattori, they have a bit of chat. Hattori ends up saying that happiness just isn't for him, and that's a really sad statement to say. Like, that's a sad statement. Is all I'm gonna say on that. She gets all upset by this. It's like, that can't be true. She cries very loudly. Her crying was really loud. Like, I don't know if anyone else noticed that. Thought it was really loud, me personally. And then we then get why he didn't want it shipped. And he basically, because he wanted a reason to get out of the house, basically. He wanted a reason to run away from where he was to, hey, I've got to pick up a book, get out of the house for a bit. Makes sense to me, anyway. Maybe he needs to cry too, he says, yeah, it gets harder when you're older, maybe that's what I need to do. God, if we get an episode where Hattori cries. Oh, that's gonna be a, oh, if they do that. Anyway, he thanks her for crying for him. Turns out, he doesn't actually have a girlfriend. Surprise! That old Satsuki was actually Hiro's mum. So, Hiro's mum, who is married, let's get that out there as well. So, but that begs the question, why was she talking to Hattori, and why was Shigure like, oh, interesting? Was he saying interesting just as if like, oh, I can use this now to talk to Mayu? get this ball rolling? Or was it like, oh, they must be enacting the rebellion plan? I have no idea. Speaking of rebellion plans, right, I've just remembered a bunch of people, so I'm going to assume I was in the wrong on this one again, told me I completely missed a bit of last week's episode that implied that Rin was also looking for a way to break the curse. I rewatched it, and I don't know how I missed that, to be completely honest. It's really, quite obvious. I don't know how I missed it last week. But thank you to everyone who told me, because I again, don't know how I missed it. But anyway, back to this week's episode now, after that brief interruption. Hattori asks Mayu out to eat some food. Don't be gross. And yeah, then I guess they go do that. Shigure calls her later, but saying like, yeah, it'll be fine. You got your chance now. Good luck. He's like, yeah, good luck. You'll be fine because you're stubborn, because, you haven't... Sort of going back to what he was saying earlier, it's like you haven't moved on for 5-10 years, whatever it was. So, not 5-10 years, however long it's been, you haven't moved on, so you'll be fine. Might take a while for him, though. But hey, then there's like a little epilogue bit of the episode where it's like, yeah, they get together and everything. It's like, ah, nice. Mayu wins, lol. Yeah, it was a good episode. Sort of like self-contained story. Like Hattori, I think he's underrated. He's one of my... when I think of my favourite characters, he's not one that immediately comes to mind, but he's pretty good. I like all the characters, what am I saying? The ones I don't like are the ones you're not supposed to like, so I think it's done its job pretty well in that instance. Yeah, wonder if, Mayu, not Mayu, yes Mayu. Names are hard, there's a lot of characters. Wonder if Mayu is gonna somehow basically let slip to this to Toru and that somehow, or if they'll stay completely out of it, because they might do, because at this point they don't need to be involved in every single little problem that's going on. Other characters can have their own problems. You don't need necessarily the main trio, the main whatever, to be directly involved. Although I guess Shigure was involved and he's pretty main. Anyway, yeah, it was good. It was a good week is where I'm coming from here. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing and stuff. 4 more reviews, that would help me out a lot. Thank you very much. I will see you next week for another episode of this. Take care. And bye, guys.